I want to give you some basic ideas on the election process of the Indian Parliament. I mean, the method of election of the President of India. The President is elected indirectly by an electoral college consisting of the elected members of both houses of the parliament and the legislative assembly of the states. It is clearly mentioned and explained in Article 54 of the Constitution of India. The idea of a direct election was proposed by many in the Constituent Assembly. Among them, K.T. Saha, who had well defined views on this specific matter. But the Assembly found the idea contrary to the spirit of parliamentary government. Apart from this, indirect election was designated help electing a statesman who was not directly involved in party politics. Dr. Ambedkar and Pandit Nehru considered election by the expanded electoral college as equivalent to the indirect to the direct election based on the adult franchise. The president is elected by the system of or by means of proportional representation by means of a single transferable vote. The constitution describes two principles for the election. Number one, states inter se are given uniformity or near uniformity in the scale of representation. And number two, a parity is established between the states as a whole and the Union of India. The principle of uniformity is given effect by giving to each voter. For example, a member of a legislative assembly, a voting strength in proportion to the population he represents. This is obtained by dividing the population of each state as ascertained at the last census by the total number of elected members in the assembly of the state. Let us explain this first principle in this manner that total population of the state is to be divided by the total number of elected members in the legislative assembly. Then it is to be divided by 1000. In calculation, if the remainder figure is 500 or more, then 1, then it should be calculated as 1. If it is less than 500, it is ignored. The second principle of parity between the Union of India and the states is translated into practice by laying down that the total votes or the total value of the votes of all members of the legislative assemblies is divided by the total number of elected members of both houses of the parliament. The derivative figure is the vote of each elected member of the parliament. The total value of the voters, the total value of votes of all elected members of parliament can be found by multiple of votes of one member of the parliament with the total number of members of parliament. Thereafter, I want to explain this principle in this manner that since the election of the president is by proportional representation by means of single transferable vote, the next step is to ascertain quota. To determine the quotas, the total number of votes polled is divided by the total number of members to be returned plus 1, and by adding this to the quotient. The formula is again explained in this manner. Number of votes polled, it is to be divided by number of members to be elected plus 1, then it is to be added by 1. The elector, while casting their votes, are required to indicate their preferences in favor of voters, in favor of various candidates. First preference votes are counted first. If any candidate secures the quota in the count, he is declared elected. If no candidate is able to secure the quota, the candidates who has secured the lowest number of votes is eliminated, and the second preference votes are counted and added to the number of votes obtained by the remaining candidates. This process continues till a candidate secures the required quota. On the whole, this is a unique system of presidential election. Thank you.